My dear students, today our topic of discussion is Raoult's law for non-volatile solute. Earlier we have discussed the Raoult's law for volatile solute. So, as you know, the solid solutes are non-volatile. So first we will discuss qualitatively the effect of adding such solid solutes on the vapor pressure of the liquid solvent. See, I have shown two beakers which is covered with bell jar. This is your pure solvent and this is your solution. Okay. So it is observed that the presence of a non-volatile solute in a solution reduces the escaping tendency of the solvent molecules into the vapor phase. Because what will happen? Some of these solute particles occupying the position of the solvent molecules on the liquid surface. So the vapor pressure of pure solvent will decrease. And you will see whenever we add non-volatile solute in it, which means it does not form vapors, it decreases the vapor pressure. See, here are less vapors, and in case of pure solvent, you will see there are more vapors. Okay, so you can say that by taking pure solvent in one beaker and the solution containing the non-solvent, solution containing the non-volatile solute in another beaker. You will see here the less vapors will form and here more vapors will form. So mathematically, the vapor pressure in that case, according to Raoult's law, the vapor pressure of the solvent in the solution, the vapor pressure of solvent in the solution will be equals to mole fraction of solution solvent into vapor pressure of pure solvent. See, we have already discussed this formula in the last class. But as you know, here solute is not making any vapors. So vapor pressure of solution will be mainly due to the vapor pressure of solvent because solute is not contributing in making the vapors as it is non-volatile in nature. So here the vapor pressure of solution should be equal to the vapor pressure of solvent in the solution. Okay, I hope is it clear to you? So vapor pressure of solution, we can again write it as this is vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution will be again due to vapor pressure of solvent, which is equal to what? Mole fraction of solvent into its vapor pressure of solvent in pure state. Okay, or in terms of symbol I can write pressure of solution will be equals to mole fraction of solvent into P naught. It is pure state. Okay, or Ps over P naught will be equals to this. I hope is it clear to you? Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt? See, this is mole fraction of solvent. I can also write it as N1 or Na over Na plus Nb. Number of moles of solvent over total number of moles of solution. Now subtracting one from each side. If I will subtract one from each side, one minus here and one minus here, it will be equals to take LCM and it comes out to be P naught over this is equals to what? Is equals to, when we will take LCM, and it comes out to be this. How you will remember? POSCO. This is the short way to learn. POSCO is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. And this term, this is lowering of vapor pressure, and this term is yours, relative lowering of vapor pressure. How you will remember? POSCO, P naught minus PS over P naught. Okay, so the relative lowering of a vapor pressure of a solution containing a non-volatile solute. My dear student, please remember here your solute is non-volatile. It is not volatile in nature. So do not forget this term. So the relative lowering of vapor pressure of a solution containing a non-volatile solute is equals to the what? Mole fraction of solute. Okay? This is your Raoult's law for non-volatile solute. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is directly proportional to the mole fraction of solute. This is the conclusion. Okay? So, Raoult's law is a special case of Henry's law. Okay? And there are so much similarities and dissimilarities between these two also. Similarity is that both applies to the volatile component of the solution. And in both states, the vapor pressure of any component in the solution is directly proportional to the mole fraction of that component. In Henry's law also, and in Raoult's law also. Fine. Now, what are the dissimilarities? They both are dissimilar in a way in the form of their proportionality constant. In Raoult's law, it is equal to the vapor pressure of pure component, while in Henry's law, it is equal to the KH. Okay? So in that way, they are differ to each other. Now, my dear students, take out a notebook and pen with you. I'm going to solve one question based on the same topic. Okay? So write down one question. Hitesh, Shravan, switch on your video, please. Write down the question and switch on your video, please. It is NCERT solved example. The vapor pressure of chloroform and dichloromethane. Vapor pressure of chloroform and dichloromethane at 298 Kelvin are 298 Kelvin are how much? 200 mm of Hg and 415 mm of Hg respectively. This is given to us. Now what you have to calculate? You have to calculate mole fraction and vapor pressure of solution. Vapor pressure of solution prepared by mixing how much? 25.5 gram of CHCl3 plus 40 gram of dichloromethane. You have to tell what is the vapor pressure of solution when we are mixing this at 298 Kelvin. This is given to us. This is we have to calculate. And second is the mole fraction of each component. Take 1 minute and think which formula can be used and how to solve this. Take 1 minute. First read the statement again and tell me how you will solve this. So first calculate mole fraction. Simply mass is given to us. We have calculated molar mass. Then we have calculated the number of moles. After that mole fraction. First mole fraction of you will calculate CHCl3. Then mole fraction of dichloromethane. It is number of moles of CHCl3 over total number of moles. Solve it and send me the answer fast. Solve it. It will be 0.312. And you can directly calculate it 1 minus 0.312 because mole fraction of sum of the mole fraction of all the components is equal to 1. So it will be 0.688. Simple. We have calculated mole fraction of both the components. Till now, is there any doubt? Please let me know. Or if it is clear, give me thumbs up fast. I have only calculated the mole fraction of both the components. Very good, Richa. You are going ahead of me. Very good. Now, what is total pressure in this case? Pressure is due to both dichloromethane and chloroform, which will be equal to what? Mole fraction of chloromethane into vapor pressure of pure component, which is given to us. Vapor pressure is given to us. For dichloromethane, it is 415 millimeter, and for chloroform, it is 200 millimeter. So after that, we will calculate the total pressure. Total pressure will be mole fraction of CHCl3 into its vapor pressure in pure state plus mole fraction of dichloromethane into its vapor pressure in pure state. It is 0.312 into 200 millimeter of Hg plus 0.688 into 450. Solve it. This will be your total vapor pressure. Solve it. It comes out to be 347.9 millimeter of Hg. This is your first part. In that case, second part is your calculate the mole fraction of each component in the vapor phase. Mole fraction of each component is mole fraction of each component will be like I calculated it for first for our chloroform. It will be total pressure, vapor pressure of this over total pressure. Total pressure is 347.9. It is equal to how much? It will be 62.4 over total pressure 347.9 because when we solve this now, it comes out to be 62.4. And similarly for CH2Cl2, it will be this term over total pressure. And it will be, and you can also minus it. Simply see, it comes out to be 0.18, and for this it comes out to be 1 minus 0.18. Solve. Is there any doubt? Please let me know. Ideal and non-ideal solution. First, we should know what is an ideal solution. Ideal solution is that solution in which each component obey Raoult's law under all conditions of concentrations and temperature. See, whatsoever may be the conditions of temperature, concentration, they always follow the Raoult's law. For example, when we are mixing benzene in toluene, it always makes the ideal solution. And after mixing, there will be no change in their volume. For example, I am taking 50 cubic centimeter of benzene in 50 cubic centimeter of toluene. Then your resultant solution will be exactly 100 cubic centimeter. Not less than that, not more than that. So delta V mixing will be 0 in case of ideal solution. And there will be no heat change. Delta H should be 0. And my dear students, you will surprised to know practically there is no ideal solution. Only that solution in which the amount of solute is very, very, very less. Means the solution is nearly dilute. They follow the ideal behavior up to some extent. Practically, it is not possible that delta V mixing will not be 0, delta H should not be 0. It has some magnitude. Okay? So, ideal solution is that solution in which delta V mixing after the solution is 0, and non-ideal solution is that in which delta V mixing is not 0. It follows Raoult's law under all conditions of temperature and concentration. It do not. In that case, delta H mixing means enthalpy change should be 0. Here, it is not equals to 0. They do not form azeotrophs. I will tell you in the class what are azeotrophs. They form azeotrophs. They do not form azeotrophs. Within 5 minutes, you will come to know what are azeotrophs. And they form minimum or maximum boiling azeotrophs. Okay. So, I hope, is it clear to you? The examples are benzene plus toluene, normal hexane plus normal heptane, chlorobenzene plus bromobenzene. They are the example of ideal solution. And the examples of non-ideal solution are ethanol in water, carbon disulfide in, HCl in water, hydrogen iodide in water. These are the examples of non-ideal solutions. Is there any doubt here?